All right.
Very nice.
I want to get to what I want to do, man. This is fun.
This is all you.
I'm really excited about this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're calling this Sad But True.
Okay.
I'm going to read 2 stories to you, short little clips. And one of them is completely false. There is not one thing true about the story, unless I name a name or something. The other one... Nope. No. Need the mute button.
Thought I had to sneeze.
So one story completely false. Nothing true about it.
Okay.
The other story is sad, but unfortunately very, very true. So a lot of these stories we're going to do are based on public companies. So this will be things that you could see in the news. Had you looked this up, you would have known this answer. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's see this.
Here we go.
You got me all pumped up for this. Let's go.
This is going to be a good one. Story number 1. In 2013, Lululemon.
Yeah, lemon.
I brought it up because we've been talking about this one.
Lemon.
Lululemon announced a recall on their popular yoga pants. Right?
Okay.
Customers had complained that the black yoga pants were too thin and thus became see-through. As the stock price slid, the CEO and founder Chip Wilson, he had to go on TV and try to, like JetBlue did when they had their problem.
Okay.
He had to go on TV. He lands on Bloomberg, popular financial channel.
Yeah.
Now, he hoped that this would be a public plan of action, like we've been talking about. CEO says, we made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do better, all this stuff.
I like that.
He was hoping to convince the customers and investors to stay with the company. Now, in the interview, they lead up to it. They always try to poke the person, get them all frustrated, then ask them the tough questions. So they poked him. Then they asked about the recall. The company, or the guy, Chip Wilson, his response, quote, was, "They don't work for certain women's bodies." He was saying that larger women's thighs are the problems, not the product. His quote, "It's more about the thighs rubbing through and how you're using it, and less about the recall and actual problem with the product." This led to a slew of hate mail and protests, which ultimately led to him resigning, the founder of the company.
Wow.
That's story number 1. Thoughts?
Okay. A lot of interesting stuff there.
I put a lot of time into these stories, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, this is really detailed.
Yep.
I think
now,
a lot of interesting details there.
That was one of my picks, right?
You have Lululemon.
Okay.
Lemon.
Yep. So you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to, like, keep it all flowing together, you know?
I like that. Yeah, I see what you did there.
All right.
Really interesting story.
Ponder that one for a second. Story number 2.
It's the women's thighs. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Would a CEO actually say that? Yeah. Story number 2. This one's about Pepsi. In 2017, it was revealed that the soda company Pepsi had spent the last 3 years, quote, massaging a study, meaning they were trying to affect the outcome of the study. Is everything okay out there? Somebody, I think, was screaming. So let's start again. In 2017, it was revealed that the soda company Pepsi had spent the last 3 years massaging a study. Quote, so the study would show that Coke would have a higher risk of Alzheimer's disease.
Whoa.
It was rumored that the company formed an investment group which invested directly in a third-party testing agency, right? So sort of under the radar. Okay. The company had funneled over $40 million into the company, which ultimately went to the family that ran that agency. The reason that they were busted, the Ryman family, the owners of the agency, couldn't hide their newfound wealth. As family and friends noticed their upgrades, including a 6,600 square foot mansion in Miami Beach, and social media posts of luxurious trips to Barbados and Italy, it attracted the attention of regulators. After a 3-year investigation, the CEO of Pepsi, Indra Nooyi, is she still the CEO, admitted no wrongdoing, but it was reported that she had to pay a settlement of close to $100 million to Coke.
How much did the Ryman family make there?
Well, they supposedly invested $40 million to the company, which we're guessing most of it went to the Ryman family. Okay. So story number 1, Lululemon saying weird things about women, or is Pepsi trying to take it out on Coke?
How big was their mansion, the Ryman?
6,600 square foot in Miami Beach.
They got 40 mil.
Were you trying to do the math?
Yeah.
That could do it. Miami Beach. I didn't grab the...
But they also went to Italy.
Yeah, and this includes pictures of private jets, flying on private jets. So when I say luxurious trips to Barbados and Italy, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, so one of these stories is false.
One of them is completely false. One of them is sad, but unfortunately very true.
I gotta say, you did a very nice job
Thank you.
in making these up.
Yeah.
Very nicely done. That second story doesn't seem like it's adding up.
What's the problem with the second story?
You got private jets, not cheap to rent out for a trip to Italy. And,
Oh, you could buy a private jet for $5 million.
okay, that's $5 million. Now you got a good few more mil for the mansion.
Over 3 years. So it's not like $40 million cash. This was over 3 years, period.
Oh,
So you're talking about a company. Imagine if someone just started funneling me money of that magnitude. You got to imagine my lifestyle is going to change.
right. So it's 40 million over 3 years or 40 million per year?
We don't know the exact amount because they didn't. CEO never admitted to doing anything wrong. But regulators found 40 million over their 3-year investigation. Could have been going on longer. Could have been more money there.
Okay, back to Mr. Lululemon here. Dude's got a problem with women with big thighs. Seemed to be the issue.
Well, he was trying to maybe blame the women with the big thighs for the problem and not necessarily say our product was bad.
Right. So he didn't want to take the blame on that one. He simply said it's the consumer's fault, not his.
Not craftily worded, but that's essentially what he said.
Right.
His quote was, "They don't work for certain women's bodies." And then he said, quote, "It's more about the thighs rubbing through and how you are using the product."
What year was that?
2013.
Gosh. For some reason, that almost sounds familiar, but like, I don't know why. I can't remember if I heard that story or not.
Let's see if
I'm going to go ahead and say that the second one is false, meaning the Lululemon one is sad, but true.
Unfortunately, that is
go.
it. Nailed
That's
it.
investigative research right there.
First one, he used his brain. So for the record, Pepsi has not. I don't have any record of them doing anything wrong. That is the CEO, but the rest of the story is completely made up by me.
How did you come up with that? How did you come up with that?
Actually, you know how I came up with it? I was falling asleep last night, and I'm like, oh, this is
you
it.
just drew the whole thing up in your head.
Right in my head, I woke up, wrote it down.
Wow.
So
That's phenomenal.
the CEO of Lululemon actually did say that. He is. You could look it up. You can watch the video. He said that. He hadn't spoken in years. It was only in the news because he had started making comments about Trump positive for him.
Yeah.
And that brought him back, and it, of course, brought that story back up in the news that this guy may not be choosing his words wisely.
Interesting. That's funny that he said that. No, okay, it's not funny. That's very, very rude. And
Yeah.
whatnot,
Well,
but-
so this was just to sort of get on the surface. The stories that I have in my head that I'm ready to share that you're going to be like, I don't know if that's true or not, are really whacked out. I mean, there are some, you'd be surprised what people get away with, or at least the news doesn't really focus on.
I like this segment. I like this. That was fun.
It's going to be so much fun. I love it.
I really enjoyed that.